the broadcast tonight, everyone. This is New Oaks AI Podcast. I'm your host, Leland Best, with my special guest, Ray Luan, CEO of New Oaks AI and EasySite AI. Welcome to the broadcast, Ray. How you doing today?
Good. How about yourself, Dylan?
You see the sweat under my nose yet? It's so hot
Yeah.
over here right now.
Oh yeah.
I had to leave the second shirt off, Ray. I apologize for showing all the skin on my shoulders and stuff for the broadcast. It's hot over
Yeah.
here right now.
So how hot is it?
It was 90 degrees today in the sun, and
Wow.
that's hot enough for me. I don't need it any hotter than that. I don't think that's
Right,
necessary.
90
But
degrees.
it happens. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is. Just for all of you that are watching out on YouTube, just know that New Oaks AI does not just cover New Oaks AI. Our podcast also covers the EasySite AI website that Ray's developed recently. So be sure to
Yeah.
go check it out at easysite.ai, or it still links with EasySite, right, Ray? You still have that old
Yeah.
domain?
Yep.
All right, cool.
EV
So
side is still it's redirecting to easysite.ai.
all right, very cool, very
Yeah.
cool. All right, we'll leave it at that, and we're gonna get right to it. So Ray sends me over some stuff, and I'm gonna call him out on this one today.
Yeah.
Ray sends me over notes for the podcast every time we start this. He lets me know what the trends he wants to talk about and stuff. And I just set up a really cool AI automation, Ray, and you didn't use it today. I had to let him know. I made a form and a nice little NAM
Wow.
workflow that's using AI,
Yeah.
so that when Ray sends this data to me now, it just produces the run of show for the podcast, and it sends it to both Ray and I's email. So you should have gotten an email, right, Ray? I don't know if you did or not. I filled out the form anyway for you. So we're
Oh, awesome.
we're in good hands
Thank you.
here. So a lot going on in the spotlight today, Ray, from one place in particular, and that's Anthropic. So you want to give us the rundown of what's going on over in the Anthropic zone right now?
Yes. Yeah. So there was a kind of debate about the structure for AI agent between Anthropic and the Cognition. So Cognition is the company who created Devin, one of the first AI coding tools, right? Was popular last year.
Okay. Yeah.
And Anthropic was using Cloud Sonic, right, as their AI coding model. So the debate was about what is the best structure for AI agents, like super agent. Anthropic used the structure of a lead agent, right? Orchestrate a team of different agents in charge of like vertical tasks, and also it has a external brain, which is a memory to memorize the long context window, so that it can always remember the ultimate plan for the whole agentic workflow. That's their clouds cloud structure for AI agent. Versus Devin, on the other hand, was using one agent to handle the whole workflow. So they were debating like which structure or infrastructure or framework is a better option.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes to cloud's model, framework, I think it's because of AI is still not 100% perfect to become a universally adaptive intelligent model yet. Like one Superman AI model can do everything, right? From planning to execution until the final testing, and still keep the memory of the whole process. Versus so that's why I think Cloud or Anthropic using the two-layer model. There's a lead agent was doing the planning and then assign a task to the AI agents that in charge of different building blocks of the whole process, right? And then on the side, there's a memory. So they use a context window as a memory to always remember the key features or the objective of the whole workflow. So that's one side. That's one option. The other option, Devin is using like one super agent, and they are using super long context window to memorize almost everything. One agent do the planning, do both planning and execution, versus a team of agents, right? One layer do planning, the other layer just does the execution. So that was about a debate. I want to understand what's your take on that?
Well, I'm looking at it just from the perspective, Genspark engineering team made a pretty broad comment, but it made a lot of sense where they stated overly structured workflows limit creativity and depth, which I do agree with that, because you're not allowing the AI to really do what it's capable of sometimes. A lot of people over structure their prompts so that it's telling it exactly what to do, and to a point where it may even break because you might have asked it to do something contrary to its primary goal. So you do need to be careful how you prompt. And if you just sometimes let it do its thing, allowing these agents to kind of work off each other and figure out what tools they should use. And I can say that with a little bit of authority, because if you're aware, Ray, that when I went into New Oaks, I created a bot very similar to what we're talking about here in a single structure. And I'm just going to show it to people for a second. This is a bot I created within the New Oaks AI construct. And what it allowed me to do was in the coding of the prompts, and I'll let people kind of see this for a second, because it should be under the general, right? So right here, I'll give you a brief rundown of how I did this.
Wow.
And this is a JSON template prompt that I put together for the New Oaks bot. What I did was I told it from the beginning, I said, I want you to behave under a matrix of 12 individual bots that are going to service up different strategies, different support, different coordination, different content, whether it's e-commerce, analytics, SEO, recruitment, whatever it might be. Each bot had its own authority. So what I asked this to do was to make Atlas my first specialist, and then everything else after that was requested by Atlas to do whatever was necessary. So it was like, okay, you want some content, then I'll have, this one take care of the content. I'll have Forge build you a form letter. I'll have Recon go out and do some analytics for you. I'll have Ranger go check out for some new recruits, things of that nature. So we had a name and a purpose. And I think that's really where Agentive is headed now. And that's what I see as the next step. And Genspark, I think the CTO, Keizu, really emphasized that the legacy designs are restricting their systems. So we have to really move ahead with new designs. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
That's a good takeaway. My perspective is that right now I agree with Anthropic or Cloud that the 2-layer agent model probably is the best framework for now. I'm just saying it is good for now, because we are still facing the limitation of the cost of long context window. Because think about it. If we want a super brain to remember everything, right? You need like a limited context window, which means that the token consumed will be like huge or tremendous amounts that no one can afford. Versus if you break the planning task into one lead agent, and then break the execution tasks into a couple of vertical AI agents and just let them talk to each other. This way, it actually can build more flexible framework within a certain limited resources. For example, the cost of tokens, right? And then I think so. The theme Anthropic or Cloud was stressing on is less control, more intelligence, which means that you don't want to give too much details to the AI when you ask the AI to do something. It's the best way is to give a clear objective and some suggestions, and just trust AI, let AI to elaborate itself and come up with a solid plan, right? And then do the execution. Versus in a traditional software, for example, traditional workflow software like either Zapier or Go High Level, it used the Canvas style drag and drop workflow building, right? Still, right now, a lot of my customers, either from New Oaks AI or EasySite AI, say, "Hey, Ray, can you build a workflow drag and drop workflow tool?" Right? my answer is that it may not be the best practice in AI era, because if you predefine workflow, just as the Genspark CTO mentioned, if you already predefined workflow, it would definitely has a lot of limitations, because the planning, you think you are the best in terms of planning
I was just
versus
gonna start on that subject in a second.
yeah, exactly. You think you're the god. Yeah, you think you are that good. Yeah, exactly. So versus, I think in a lot of area for anyone, right? AI is in a lot of different focus or areas or academic areas or business areas. AI are definitely better than us, right? So we are not thinking as thoroughly as completely as AI. So another option is to that give AI the opportunity to do the planning and make it adaptive workflow instead of a predefined workflow.
Yeah.
I think that's the key that Genspark is doing much better, as a AI agent builder, because if the workflow is not fixed or predefined, AI then has the opportunity to do the reasoning or inferencing process or train of thought process and give us the best workflow, versus we have to tell AI has to do whatever we ask them to do, like 100% with no space of improvement. So I think
just give it creative license is what I call it.
Yep.
Just let your AI, the one that's smarter than you, do what it was programmed to do. And that is come up with solutions that are more likely better than what we could come up with on our own. So why take that extra effort yourself and try and framework something that would probably be best to just let it framework itself and go from there?
Exactly. And also it comes to, it reminds me of another discussion within EasySite's customers. So when it was yesterday, so when customers was comparing EasySite with Lovable, right? It said, in general, EasySite is performed better than Lovable, but in one use case, if he put in a long, detailed lump sum prompt to EasySite, EasySite is not going to execute well. Well, the reason is exactly the same as the topic we discussed today, right? If you give a long, detailed, big prompt to AI, you're kind of tell AI exactly what to do and execute one by one according to your planning framework, right? It's limits the AI. So that's why it cannot generate a better idea. Versus another way to build a prompt is that just tell AI what you want to build, and then so that AI can give you a framework, and then ask the AI again to refine the framework, right? Make a better framework. And so the idea is to iterate your ideas and refine your ideas during the process of chatting with AI, versus just think about come up with a fully convinced, detailed, oriented prompt and tell AI to do it one by one, step by step, and you may not get the best result. So the principle I should apply both on generating prompts and also use prompt to generate or build AI agent, I think.
Oh yeah, I like it. And then, just as key takeaways, when you're talking multi-agent and unstructured workflows to boost your AI intelligence and its creativity, just use that intelligence. Don't try to override it yourself. That's not where you belong. You belong using it as a tool. And Genspark and Anthropic kind of nailed it on the head when it comes to these, because they're leading the shift in a lot of areas, not just with MCP, not just with search. Well, that was Perplexity more so, but these guys will be doing the same thing. You can see it happening on the horizon already. And now with these super agents, that's going to play a massive role in how people structure. We're looking at LLMs turning into these super quadratic type, subquadratic applications, where we're going to see a whole new fold in the next 6 months easily. So how are we going to accommodate that, Ray? Is this something that when we move ahead to this stage where we're in multi-agent, we're talking sometimes 4 times the cost to be able to run these kinds of agents? Do you see a lot of people heading toward this, or is this going to be like enterprise level production? I see this as a bigger offering, not just the little stuff.
Right. So I think moving forward, the super AI agent framework is going to take in place with the capability of AI model develop. So the speed of AI development will be faster than we thought. So given that as a key assumption, right, moving forward when we predict how will AI trend to shape to come into shape. So I think the key is that first, I think more of a small and solopreneur, small SMBs probably use one big agent to do a lot of tasks that which is not that complicated. But if you are building a bigger, complex task or jobs, I think it's better. Doesn't matter you're a small business or solopreneurs or enterprise. I think it's better to use the super AI agent framework, right, to build a lead agent and orchestrating with the other vertical AI agent to complete the whole process. So that's what we talked about before. I think it's called AI employees, right?
Yeah.
AI employees just a concept, but if you break the concept of AI employees into the executable structure of AI agents, you're going to see the level, right? It's just like human AI company, right? I mean, human team. It's like a team. You need a lead, right?
Yeah. Last week we even talked about the fact that with the agent of AI, you're capable now of building your own board of directors if you wanted to, that you could use as materially that you could use for bouncing your ideas off of or whatever, and just seeing if it's really worth going through the efforts, because they're at that level now. And speaking of at that level, let's just kind of move into the next thing, Ray. We got a few minutes left. We're down through half of the podcast tonight. So what I want to do is get over to EasySite.ai. So we're going to be talking EasySite for the next few minutes and talk about some of the latest updates over there. MCP tools is one, honestly, that I'm happy to see. So Ray, tell us about what's happening in the MCP area.
Yeah. So MCP is the model context protocol that's agreed by both Anthropic and also OpenAI and other major large language model builders, which is like the API in AI era, right? So which means that EasySite as a AI app builder can call any external tool through MCP already. So we start to build 2 MCP tools for this release early this week. One is that if you enable the MCP, you actually enable the capability to use AI prompt to write and modify your database, built-in database, by one click. Which means that when you build when you use prompt to build the website, it comes with the built-in database already, and you can always use prompt to write the data into the database and update the data in the database, and even delete data in the built-in database. So that's one thing. Yeah, and the second thing is we have connect to external image generator, so that if you enable the image generator, it's going to use the image not created by AI to generate whole website. So the building material is much richer than originally. Because if you do not use that, you will see that all the different websites, they're using very similar, icons or figures or image of some people. But those guys and girls are like faked ones, right? It's not the real people. It's in a picture that AI created. So they look very similar for all the different users' website.
So we can do both at the same time in this case. I can just
Yes.
click them both
Yes.
on and make it so for those who are watching, I'm just giving into my account that Ray's offered to me to demonstrate. This is basically the MCP tool section that was just added to the website builder. So let's say application builder. So if we come in here, we can manage the tools by simply adding the 2 tools that he has in place. And you can save those, which is allowing you the opportunity to build into your own database or search for images. And then Ray, do you expect this is going to continuously add to like any other MCP servers that we want to connect to? We could from this point.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So we're adding more MCP servers into the marketplace. For example, we are going to add like web search tool and also, YouTube or Google Map, like all the software AI apps that already adapts to MCP will be put in place so that you can connect your website with, the whole MCP tool market.
Yeah, well, I like it. Moving along, we've got a GitHub project import that's now available. Users can now directly import GitHub repositories into their EasySite workspace by streamlining development and version control. So we'll just head over to another section here on the menu, which is basically 1 step up or 2 steps up from MCP, where you can then, I've already connected my GitHub account. You just simply click the button to connect your account. And then if you want to manage your organizations, if you have organizations within your GitHub, and then for your project, you can transfer a project once you're connected to your repository fork, then you can go ahead and make edits for yourself and bring them back into the system. So really cool stuff.
Actually, there's another entrance on that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just log out and go to the main page. So there's a small button. Yeah, go to home page.
Oh, okay, gotcha. On EasySite myself, I got to log out.
Yeah, underneath that, so there's on the right hand side, underneath that there is a import from GitHub. If you go to home page, you have to go to the home page.
Oh, okay. So I have to be in. I do have to be in. I thought you wanted me to log out. My bad. All right, let's go over to the home page again. We'll start on the home page. And
so there's a button import from
import from GitHub. So you just click this.
So you can generate a website directly from your GitHub repository. Ooh. So that's the idea, right? Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Now I get it.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So if you already have the content, you can just drop it and put it right into the system. Very cool.
Yeah, it's also a better way to migrate your project from Lovable or Bold New, right? For example, you can migrate a project from Lovable or Bold New into GitHub first, and then move the project from GitHub to EasySite. So that's the whole idea. Two-way synchronization.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I like this one. This must have come up because of something I was building the other day, Ray, with the new fix build error. I love this. There's a new button then inside the project builder. I would assume. I was in the process. This is a project that failed because I didn't have any tokens left. I was using Ray's 3 million that he gave me for moving some stuff around out there on the site. So from here, you're saying there's a point where I can just fix everything. Where do I?
Right. Well, that's the fix builder is when you generate the the website, it's prompt. Sometimes the AI will display a error, right? Yeah, and then because there's a build error, and then you can just need to. It's used during the process of first time generating a project. So when there's an error, it's not going to be a blank project anymore. There's a button called fix error. You can just click the button so that AI will automatically fix it. It's
it'll be like the apply button in a sense.
Exactly. On the right hand side. On the right hand side. Over the panel.
It'll be called out by the AI to let you know that there's an error, right? Now,
yes.
Just for instance, if you have a site, like I had an issue with the cache that I accidentally generated. I didn't want it to be there. And what it was doing was for my affirmations, it kept loading I had 100 affirmations in the database that I wanted it to use. And what it did is it blasted through all 100 of them and stored them in a cache, like instantly. And I kept telling it, no, don't do that. Stop doing that. And it just wouldn't fix it. So can I still fix a site that maybe broke prior to this update, or in any way be able to have it identify the problems itself without me having to point it out?
Yeah, so that's regarding to your specific question or issues. Is I think it's better to use a chat mode to ask AI to debug the code, right?
Yep.
For loading the data from database and debug it and ask AI just describe your issue is, right? So that it uploading the data so many times and run into a dead cycle. Just AI to optimize the code. It will do and give you proposals and options, and then you can apply the changes afterwards.
Yeah, that's what it did for me. And for some reason, I just couldn't get the cache thing straight. So I backed up. I went back a few previous iterations again, found the place where the app was stable, and then just went on top of that, and everything was fine. So the app is fully functional. It is in Ray's template library too. I believe I dropped it in the public forum, so you guys can go look at Mental Strength, which is a men's health AI implemented. It's got a little bit of affirmation. Plus, I've also connected Ray's New Oaks AI chatbot with the new integration that was just added in as well. So I'll show you that just real quick. If you notice, within the settings for the website, we have the chatbot feature, and I have it turned on, and it's also attached to the premium chatbot. So if I want to come over here and actually see what's there, I can just click into my account. It's going to bounce into my New Oaks AI account. Here's my Mental Strength, which is already pre-built for me because I've asked it to, and it just went ahead and created it. So this is one issue, though, Ray, that I did see because I am a white label user of your system, that there is some little glitch there when you bounce from one account into the New Oaks account. So it's just as you go to pick on the chatbot, it does that. We'll have to take a look at it. Other than that, nothing. We did have a couple more updates before we get to New Oaks and then wrap this up real quick, Ray. We're almost there. Restoring version name change and timestamp. Tell me what that was for.
Yeah, so that was a request from our customer. So when you restore your website to previous history version, we have a very detailed timestamp so that we can remember that which history version you want restored it to. And then also for every
right here you see the date and time of the actual creation, and then you can pick on actually see it first before you restore it and decide if that's the right version.
And also you can modify the name of it so that it can make it a restoration point, right?
Gotcha.
Rename it so that if you come up with a very good version of the website and you feel very satisfied, just better to rename it to keep it as a restoration point. So when you're moving forward, if AI mess something up, you can always go back to this point that you remember, which is good enough as a basic model to baseline prompt. Yeah.
Good place to add your version numbers right in there. Just V1, V2, V3, whatever you need it to be. Token cost optimizations. I want my money back, Ray. Ray and the team managed to do a major update that has reduced the token consumption per prompt by literally 50%. So this makes EasySite far more cost effective. Ray, what was it that managed to pull that? What major update took place that allowed for the token cost?
Right. So it was 2 weeks ago. We found that there was a loophole that we miscalculate. We didn't calculate the caching cost from cloud, which means that cloud charges more than we charge our customers. Well, it's our mistake. So we fill in the loophole, and then some of our customers found that the token consumed has spiked up. So, and then we spent another week to optimize the token costs. So, but not degrade the performance. So that's what I meant, that we reduced the token cost by at least 50% compared with the initial spike after we fill in the loophole or the patch, right? And then I think right now is the current consumed token is reflecting the actual cost that we are charged by cloud API. And I did a comparison with both new and allowable. So for a SaaS landing page, prompts, EasySite only consumed about 20K tokens versus whole new, it costs you at least like 4 times of the amount of. Yeah.
I know there were a few iterations that I did of my websites, which one of them was much more in depth and mental strength. That was the AI mediator site that I performed. That one was using sometimes 400K tokens per iteration. And that's just to get the website in its final state. It wasn't at the beginning. It was once you have Google sign in, once you have database connection, once you have everything else built in there and you're asking it to reiterate at that point, you're using a lot more tokens because it has to recode the entire thing. So
exactly.
Great work, Ray. Awesome job on EasySite. And we have one update we're going to mention over here at New Oaks. And it's a big one because there's been a lot of talk I've noticed on the New Oaks AI community. And there are 2 communities on Facebook. So if you are in either or, sometimes the word overlaps between the 2, but that's okay because they're really based on 2 interconnecting products. So head over to either New Oaks AI community or the EasySite AI community where you can find that information. A lot of people have been asking about this one, Ray. So as far as talking about New Oaks, let's just talk about the server move from the EU servers to the global server. There's a lot of confusion going on in the group. They're not sure what's taking place, especially those in the EU. So can you just give a full explanation of what happened, why, and where we're at?
Sure. So we, up to yesterday, until yesterday, we just finished the whole migration from EU server to global server. So the idea is to maintain the code on only one server so that we do not forget to get the latest updates for our EU customers. In the same time, we also build DPA protocol or contract, put it on our Unix website to make it GDPR compliant. Okay. And the whole process was taking longer than what we thought because there's a lot of things that we have to do during the migration. That's why some EU customers were not happy about it. We have to move the code and then we have to migrate the database. So it's not an easy job to move the data from EU to US and specifically to our Microsoft Azure server in the West Coast. Sure. And yeah, there's a lot of data and details we need to watch out. But fortunately, it took about 3 weeks to finish the migration. But there may still be some minor issues like some chatbot log data was missing or some chatbot cannot be seen in their workspace. But it's okay. We can remedy that. So just send the request email to support@newoaks.ai so that we can fix your specific issues, account by account. So that's the only thing that I want to mention. The whole migration was successful, but there's some issues left. We're going to fix it one by one.
Sure. And that's understandable, Ray. We totally get that. So if you are having any problems after the migration, just be sure to send an email through support@newoaks.ai for that specific problem that you're having since the migration, and they can make that fix because obviously there were all backups of all the content. This is just a migration. This is not like flip one switch and turn on the other. It's not going to disappear. So it's just a matter of Ray making sure the connections are solid. All right, we need to let Ray go because he's got work to do over there in Beijing and we don't want to hold him up. Ray, thanks so much as always for being here on Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, as you always are. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.